You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. I am Soultime, and I am joined here for episode 64 with the whole crew is here today, minus one, and that would be Green Stego, Romance Girl, and Sally Bug. How is everybody today?
Great.
Doing great. New year. Feeling refreshed.
Yeah, doing quite well.
It is a new year. It is our
So
first.
far, so good.
It's our first episode of 2023, and which marked season 4, as far as the publishing is concerned. And we really appreciate anyone joining us live here on YouTube or on the podcast platform of your choice for the archived audio. And wow, it's been a while since episode 63, I think.
It really has.
It has.
I don't even know when that was.
It was, well, we skipped a week. Well, not a week, a pod. Because
The
2 weeks ago,
holidays.
it was the holiday. It was Christmas Eve, and
Well, I recall it being technical. Well, we were out of power a couple times, and internet was down. So I think it was the downed internet that made us skip
really
the holiday episode.
really did.
Did us in.
We do require electricity and internet to run this thing.
Yeah. And we have a new time as well. So we're trying a Saturday late afternoon, early evening format, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 4:30 p.m. Central. And I don't know, how does that translate to the UK? Is that 10:30 p.m. UK time? I think they're 5 hours ahead of us, which would mean that they are 6 hours ahead of Texas, right? Yeah. Okay. So like I said, lots to talk about. Let me see if I can remember to actually switch the slides for our viewers on the YouTube's channel. Yeah, so our highlights and topics today, we've chosen from a hat, more or less, a look back at the dawning with a special nod to Sally Bug there for making some Destiny cookies. The exotic mission, which maybe not all of us have had a chance to do yet, and the Iron Banner current season, which is season 19, the Fortress mode. Starting with the dawning, I know everybody in this podcast right now has got a few of the achievements and met some of the milestones of Dawning 2022. Any impressions you'd like to share?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that I got the title Star Baker, but I did not gild it. Did anybody else here gild their Star Baker title?
Yes.
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 You're the only one.
Don't have enough dawning cheer.
What set you back on the gilding?
The finishing combatants with dawning weapons.
Right, that was the slog.
Yeah.
That was the big slog, and that was also a moment I was gonna grind it out when I didn't have dim.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the dim going down was a big slow.
The API going down.
Do it.
Bad timing, huh? Yeah. That was rough.
I don't want to blame the API issues
Well, I do.
on it because I mean, item management is just, it's always a thing, and dim helps, but I have my own problems.
Why take responsibility when you can blame something else, though? That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, the dawning was
That's a
great.
Twitter philosophy if I ever heard one.
I thought it was great. I thought the whole event was awesome as far as these recurring events go.
It's a classic. You just feel great delivering those cookies. You get a bunch of experience. I'm further along in my season pass because of it. I got some bright dust. Just mostly good things to say.
Yeah,
The
what you
only-
want in a live event.
The
Exactly.
bright dust farming alone.
With
It's
a
like
little tweaking.
Standing at Ava and getting the extra cookies.
Mhm.
There
Cookie
was a
bounties and baking the cookies to get the bright dust. That alone was worth it.
and I think
Absolutely.
Bungie did really well with the upgrade, the little tweak to the snowballs and being able to upgrade your snowball game and have snowball kills count extra towards leveling up your deep sight resonance weapons, your red bordered weapons. And I felt like it was also leveling up just any crafted weapons as well a little faster. That was
So,
my
I think
feeling.
so.
Yeah.
That's-
And I really enjoyed that. I enjoy the whole aesthetic. I got into this rhythm of doing all the bounties because glimmer is not a problem anymore for me. It's very easy to get your glimmer back now in the game with all the improvements to like public events and things like that. And so I spent an awful lot. I would just go through my 250,000 glimmer, doing bounty after bounty, and the bottleneck for me was essence. And so Sally Bug and I did a little bit of grinding at the investigation mission in the throne world to get back some essence, to get some more chances at our dream weapons as far as the dawning weapons were concerned. And the dawning weapons were really interesting, good with the new perk set. And I feel
we also discovered that, just going into the legendary lost sectors as a fire team, you don't get the exotic drop, but you could get there because there were two of us. We could get through the lost sector in like, what was it, like 5 or 6 minutes?
less than that even. I think it was
And that was
5
and
minutes
that gave
tops.
justice. That also gave 16 or 17 essence. So it was a great essence farm and kind of fun.
That was fun. I had a good time. I always love me a good lost sector. Yeah. There was I guess maybe my opinion or my bias towards Dawning 2022 being so great was certainly influenced, or the scales were tipped a little bit by some IRL cookies that Sally Bug made. Sally Bug, you want to talk about the
Ooh.
cookies that you made from the official Destiny cookbook?
Yeah, I got that cookbook. Gosh, I want to say it wasn't even. Was it last Christmas?
I gave you my heart.
But yeah, I think it was when our internet was out, and it was like, okay, well, if I can't actually do the dawning in the game, I'm gonna do the dawning anyway. And so I pulled out that cookbook and made some classic chocolate chip cookies with my granddaughter at my side helping.
You were like space grandma at that point.
Yeah, definitely got some help by Eva. I could feel her spirit. And then we also I think I did these on my own. I did the alkane dragée cookies. I had to make a little bit of a substitution just because I didn't have one of the ingredients, but I had something that I was able to substitute with no issues.
I gotta say, the alkane dragée was heavenly. They were a pain in the butt
Those
to
were
make,
so
weren't they?
good.
They're kind of
Is that?
was kind of a pain to make. I mean, it wasn't just like throwing a cookie recipe together. There was some
They're
stuff
actually
involved.
not too bad. One thing that I discovered, and I probably didn't discover this before because I would say like within the last year I upgraded my I forget what it's called. The kitchen appliance.
The oven?
No.
You masterworked your cookie oven?
Her oven 2.0.
No, it's not a hand mixer, but for some reason my brain is not remembering
Stand
what
mixer?
No, it's not a stand mixer. It's more of a processor, like that's what it's called, a food processor. And I discovered that I could I actually had a dough blade that came with my food processor, and I found it, and it's like it just made the cookie making experience so much easier.
Oh,
could
cool.
just do the creaming of the butter and the sugars in that. It kind of like acts like a hand mixer, right? Like so it makes it like you're not having to do that part by hand, because that's always the tedious part. So yeah, the alkane dragée cookies were not really that difficult, except for the one special ingredient, which was like vanilla cinnamon salt. You're supposed to make with vanilla seeds, the seeds from a vanilla pod, but I did not have access to a vanilla pod. I looked in my grocery store and they did not have it. It's definitely a specialty item. And so I just made it with high quality. Like I bought some like high-end vanilla extract and just made that salt with the extract. Not quite the same thing, but they tasted great. So
They were amazing, actually. The only tragedy about making those alkane dragée cookies was Sloan wasn't around to enjoy them, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's a good way to honor her memory, though.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I have a question for Romance Girl and Green Stego on this beautiful Saturday evening. Did you guys have a chance to try the exotic mission for the Revision Zero?
Yes, we did.
Did.
Real quick, though, hold on. Before we completely move on from the Dawning, I do want to say,
Oh, sorry.
Bungie, I know you're listening. Next year, I know they are. I know they are.
They love us.
Next year, if we could please include the children in the Dawning, that is to say, the Elixni hatchlings.
Well,
that would be great.
Yeah. They had this weird thing where if you went to the Elixni Quarter, you celebrated the Dawning with them. And I did it a couple times, and then Sallybug pointed out that you have to do 3 of them, and then you get one of those boons. You get an extra boon. So, did you guys discover that? It was kind of like a little secret.
I did not discover that, but I don't want it to be like a secret Easter egg, a wink that we include children in our holidays, especially this time of year. Like,
You want it to be more explicit?
yeah, I
Like-
do.
like a-
I want Spider in a Santa hat is what I want.
And the other thing I'm going to say, if we're on that kind of that thing, ways to improve the Dawning, would be to bring back the decorations in the hangar and Ikora's big thing that she would
A
manifest,
big crystal
like the
thing.
Dawning
Yeah, she would manifest.
crystal that she would
the Dawning
manifest.
crystal.
The
That was good.
orbs, the floating orbs.
I
Those
think
are cool.
Yeah,
And
Those
when
were
you
there.
you could push your own out into the sky.
Yeah, you
Oh,
could like interact with them.
you know
Right, you
what?
could
They
pick
were
them
there,
up.
but they were way out in the sky already, just hanging there. Like if you looked
yeah, you
off
couldn't
the
like
edge.
pick one up and like put
Right.
it out.
They were like
there
actually
as
in the
part of
tower
that.
at one time. That's right.
My guess is that in their internal testing for server stability, they found that whenever somebody did grab one of those orbs and released it, it crashed the API.
It's possible.
Absolutely.
But it was just because I don't know if you remember this, but it was like a couple dawnings back when I did actually did a lore piece on
Yeah, they went out of their way to say how the decorations reached the hangar that year. If I recall.
there was a whole thing with Amanda, and she had like a story behind it and putting lights up and remembering lights up, and it was a way to kind of honor her family and her family's memory.
My guess is that as the game gets a little busier, they're just trying to not sacrifice performance in the tower.
Right. I mean, it makes sense, but it was
a little sad.
And I agree. It'd be nice if they could find a way for those performance.
For that to come back.
To boost that.
I mean, if they can't because of the, for whatever
Ghost
reason.
VX2, do you have any thoughts on the Dawning 2022 to 2023?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ghost VX2.
Yeah, I do actually. Dan was on about including the hatchlings. I'm sure we can give them the blowouts we've been getting.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Giving a the rocket launcher.
Let's give hatchlings
That's a brilliant idea.
some rocket launchers.
Yeah.
So for
now better to armor ourselves, you know what I mean?
So for those not in the know, Crucible currently is giving out at least one, usually two blowouts at the end of every match.
Yeah,
it's the new Edge Transit.
I had to get.
Cassius said it's basically a fuck you from Bungie.
Are we allowed to say that on there?
I had to Google. I always put it's not for children, so it's fine. I had to Google how to get a blowout, how to find one of those things, and after I Googled it, I started getting 4 or 5 after each match.
Yeah, that's funny. They're like that. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in the Crucible right now.
There is.
If
you want while we're talking about that, what I can't get to drop are the Iron Banner legs, the new.
It's gotten like 20 helmets, but no legs.
Drop. I've gotten so much.
I've gotten. We might as well just skip topics and address Iron Banner.
Well, before we get completely, I mean, we've been hanging on to the Dawning, and I think giving out blowouts like they're candy canes and Spider wearing a Santa hat, if those things don't break the API, I think a choir of Elixni children singing "Come O Ye Faithful" would. Although I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it.
Oh, it'd be so worth it.
Just be jingle bells.
But let's talk about Iron Banner, because I've been doing it all day today, and I've been having a really fun time most of the time. I mean, every now and again you get the lopsided game.
Love it.
We're having a lot of fun. I think that
do like the mix of exotics.
Yeah, as always, it's about the company you're with in the Iron Banner.
That's true.
More than the game mode itself.
That is true.
Good company couldn't save Rift for me, so if that gives Fortress any
props.
Ouch.
Oh.
No, I am. It's very playable for me. I know that my one of my teammates, Ghost, was having trouble when we were on a bit of a losing streak after like the 10th or so loss.
I'm not going to say it was a losing streak.
Annoyed.
I'm going to say that the amount of games I've played, and I was trying to get the freaking piece of armor dropped, and it wasn't happening.
Yes, the
RNG. That's what's happening to me
that was happening to Sally Bug. Yeah, it's the RNG.
I think
that really is
be improved upon.
The biggest
for sure.
thing.
The grind, I think, also even if you are going to stretch out the grind for 2 events, I think is insane. They want us to play an insane amount of this game, because I feel like I played a lot this week. I had
I'm ready to reset my rank. I'm still missing
I played all day. and I'm nowhere near some of the loot that they want me to earn in that game mode.
Yeah, it's that I agree. It's a little nuts what they're
You seen the
feel
rank you
like
get the shader? My god, you basically got to reach legend on the next page.
I think a
gotta
reset
reset.
should give you a full set of armor.
right.
I like that idea.
I mean, especially since they have like where you can use those engrams to focus the armor to what you want, but you have to have the armor drop first to be able to focus it. So then I found myself holding on to all of those engrams, saying, "Okay, well, when I get the legs drop, then I can like start
Yeah,
focusing
but they
all of
could have,
these."
if you had just turned those into Rahul, those could have been the legs.
We found that
That's what I
out.
did.
We learned
I
that.
Yeah.
actually broke down, turned in all 6 of them, and got 3 helmets and a couple heroes' burdens, and just
Yeah, the
I'd say
RNG
doing the
is,
engram
the
is much
legs.
better.
a
put it
quote
that
from
way.
Ghost VX2 sums it up,
RNG
and
shit.
that is, against my will, I have gilded the Iron Banner title.
Oh,
Against,
I
he
still
had,
haven't had
he
that
had
one piece.
accidentally gilded it just going for his RNG armor.
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, if you're gonna gild a title, you should be going for it.
Yeah, you should be doing it because you're trying to get that, not like just trying to get like one drop to happen.
Yes, exactly. So that's a little ridiculous. But the game mode itself, I would say it's a bit of a mess. There's a lot of twerks.
Quirks.
Tweaks.
Twerks. That'd be cool. A twerk emote.
I mean, a twerk emote is
No.
inevitable at this point.
It's inevitable.
It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen, and it will replace.
And it would improve. It would be a good tweak to the game mode. But no,
Tweaky twerk.
it would use a lot of tweaking. But that being said, we're having a lot of fun. It's a mess. If you embrace the chaos, it can. And like I was going to say, we were losing quite a bit, but it was very like grindable. Like I didn't mind so much that we were losing because we were still having fun as a group.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
would say there's one map, and that's the new one, the Sabathun map. I don't remember the name of it.
Disjunction.
Yeah, that's the one that I really had a difficult time with because the spawns were always so far away from either one of the capture points or the middle where you were trying to like, and so it's just like as soon as you died,
the bigger maps,
you got like pulled out completely from like every other game, every other map that we were in. The spawn point put me near something I could do to help, whether it be like, neutralizing a zone or capturing a zone or helping with defend the middle or try to get the other team off the middle, any of that. But with Disjunction, as soon as I died, by the time I got back to near any one of those things, I was already dead again. It's just like this wash, rinse, repeat, die, spawn way far away from everything, try to get back to it, die again.
Yes, we get it.
Wait, I don't quite get it. Could you say it again, Sally Buck?
No.
It's not a great map for this game mode because it's so big.
So it's so long.
It makes it difficult. Yeah.
I feel
but
like
I don't mind the map as much as I didn't have this. I mean, I was using long range weapons, so it was fine.
That helps.
I will say
I don't really like that map
does help.
since Rift, so
I think I generally prefer matches where it feels like you can do like either AC or BC or AC. Like you kind of have like
you can pick two.
You can pick and choose, exactly, and you can kind of just like go with the flow of the match, as opposed to some maps in like Control. It's really just about controlling B, and Disjunction feels like it's just about controlling B.
Yeah.
I'm all about the
For the most
AC.
part.
I like the AC method.
And as far as the bubble meta, the Titan bubble meta, I don't mind it just for. I mean, I think that you could tweak it so that it's not the only option. But I think it's fun for a I think
I went in
I thought it was like just a
anticipating.
fun novelty.
I
as
went in
bubbles are actually
anticipating
useful
that
in the
meta.
Crucible.
I went in anticipating that being like just like, oh, that's just going to ruin it. There's going to be bubbles everywhere, and it really wasn't as bad as I expected. I think there were still quite a few like Voidwalker
Nova Bomb.
warlocks. Yeah, who were like
Nova
kind of
Bomb
like
shattered the
there were enough
dome
people
pretty
who were
quick.
like coming out with, I mean, Wither Horde, which is what I used most of the time, was I
Smart
found
choice.
No,
far more problematic.
people figured out how to
than
deal with the
bubbles.
Titan bubbles. That's for sure. By today, Saturday, it's been out since Tuesday. People have figured out how to deal with it, how to counter it.
I mean, yesterday we played a lot, and I'd say we did not play a game where Titan bubbles didn't dominate the middle drop zone. But I mean, skill-based matchmaking results may vary.
That's
I
right.
guess.
Yeah, mileage varies on all of us playing, and I guess my plus in this game mode is apart from just a breath of fresh air to have playing the objective count. It's not that kills don't count. It's just you don't see your. I could see the people who want to be the one with 42 kills at the top of the table all the time are going to be disappointed with this game mode because that's not what it's about. It's about playing the objective. And so I'm finding myself at the top of the table a lot in a refreshing way. It's like, hey, now it's giving us strategy people who want to help the team and play the objective. And it's not like the kills don't count. You'd still have to get people
I found that to
down.
be like a very shallow argument for them saying, how could they not put KD at the end of the map and then like going on about how kills really do count? And it's like, whoa, no one's saying kills don't count just because
And look, caring about
that's not
KD in
how
that game
they're
mode.
calculating the score.
Right.
It's just they're just not making that the main focus of the end screen.
Right.
I mean, it shows you KD at the start of the game, at the start of the round.
Yeah, and
Right.
I noticed that. I noticed that too. It does.
Yeah, I
it does
noticed
still
that.
show you your KD.
Yeah. I just think it's a breath of fresh air. It's something different. It's the first time I can remember playing any Crucible where the objective is what's rewarded.
I think it's probably the first time I've ever played Crucible that
It's
long.
similar. They've had a zone control before, which has a similar scoring system.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see it.
I love
featured.
it. I'm just enjoying it while it's here. And yeah, it could be tweaked, definitely, for sure. It's so much chaos, but it's kind of fun. It's like a little mini mayhem going on.
To do this same mode, but no supers.
Wow. That would be fun too, I think, to try.
It would just be interesting. Like what would
It
happen
would be.
for that middle drop zone if there were just 0 supers?
Right.
I tell you what would be happening, Cassie with multi-tool taking heads.
Multi-tool, yes.
I can hope.
Oh, I have my guiding sight. That's my weapon for Fortress, is the guiding sight, and I'm also using Fool's Remedy. That's my loadout on all 3 characters. I use those two.
No Time to Explain and Outbreak are pretty really solid as well.
Yeah, I'm getting hit by that one a lot.
Yeah.
I finally got the Mida Catalyst to drop, so I was working on, you need 200 precision kills in the Crucible.
Yeah, and when I got, I actually have my Mida, I got that Catalyst to drop as well, and I got killed by it a few times. It's like, I should really pull that out and start working on it. If I'm going to just play this mode for fun, I can get my 5 or 10 kills per game.
I love having a Catalyst that I'm just working on in the background.
Right. So I think I might do that when I come.
And then I was working.
Back in.
And then I got my. I actually got my Brigand's Law to level 20, playing in the Iron Banner, which was a seasonal challenge I missed last season. So it was nice.
That is good. Yeah, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I think Crucible is probably the fastest method to level up weapons.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, actually.
Because I think activity completions grant the most percentage.
I leveled up my I-Class SMG quite a lot yesterday. It's like level 30 now from just doing Crucible with it.
Yeah, I noticed I was leveling up my stuff. I was putting my crafted Tarnation in my heavy slot because I was never getting heavy ammo.
Right. Just to level that
level
up.
it up in the ground. But then when I would get heavy, I'd be like, oh my god, this is a terrible grenade launcher. Why am I even bothering?
Maybe as you level it up, it won't be so terrible.
Right.
We'll see.
I don't know. I think that with the first fleet of craftable weapons, they really played it conservative.
The Witch Queen weapons,
Yeah.
They might get a buff though.
When was the last time somebody pulled out the fell teradiddle? And it wasn't a joke.
I was leveling it up recently.
Well,
were you?
You should stop.
No, it wasn't the fairy tale. I'll take that back. It was an under your skin.
Yep.
Which is actually
that's a better one.
It's just an objectively better one.
But not as funny when you know that the person on the other side who you killed says you were killed by the fell teradiddle.
It's good luck making that kill.
It's a good feeling though.
The meta was in a good place. I think the only thing we saw every game was Le Monarch.
Oh my god!
Everything else, it was just like there was a lot of variance in what
I didn't come up against that today actually when I was playing some today.
We were it was every game, Richard. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Le Monarch. So at least one person on the other team would always have a Le Monarch.
Yeah.
I mean, for us right now, I would say Wither Horde is probably what I see the most of.
I agree.
The Outbreak Perfected and No Time to Explain are repeats. But I'm also noticing a lot of submachine guns and varying ones like Shayera's Wrath and Osteostriga. I was getting killed by, and Callus Mini Tool. So like just a
come across the Callus Mini Tool, but I did come up against Icolos quite a lot.
It's
right. Yeah, I saw the
nice when there's a meta where
there's more than
pretty
a couple
much
choices.
anything is viable, just depending on your play style and what you're good with.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, that there's a lot of things that are viable right now that you can choose.
Yeah, the only problem
Maybe
is because there's so many exotics being used, you've just got to find ways to counter every single one of them.
Well, that's not really a problem. If that's what you want, is that there's so many different exotics being used, not the same exotic.
Right.
Oh yeah, so many different ones. It's hard to counter them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good. Because then it'll be predictable and boring.
That's what makes Jotun so good. Is
I decided to stick on Fell Winters and just went around shotgunning everyone.
There you go.
I don't think I came across a Jotun today.
I did. I have.
We had one game with a
couple
Jotun guy,
times.
and
there's always a Jotun dude.
Yeah. Last night.
That Jotun guy. It's one guy too. He just pervades the game.
There's that one guy. There's always that one guy, right?
It is a good weapon. I've used it a few times in the Crucible.
One that
goes around corners.
It does. It's seeking.
Occasionally, yeah.
Seeking's a little bit. I wouldn't have minded running Bastion. I never.
Oh, I heard. I saw that somewhere. Somebody was doing that. Yeah. It's a good Iron Banner. It's because it's different, at least, and I'm enjoying my time in there. And I'm not done yet. Has everybody met their goals by now? I'm not done. I haven't even completed all of the
set on my hunter, and I think that's gonna be what I can do this time around. I'll see what I can do next time.
That's right. Let's keep in mind to all the listeners out there. I see there's some people who are upset with the grind, but there is going to be another opportunity. It will come around again, right?
I wish there were 3.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, there will be a second one at least, so you don't have to put your entire life on hold this weekend.
If we pressure them enough, they might make a third in the last few weeks.
Yeah, because they do listen to what we say.
Extra blowouts.
We're vocal enough.
They're gonna say we actually replaced all of your pinnacle heavy weapons with blowouts.
Blowouts.
But I would like to get a full armor set on each of my characters, and I only have it on my hunter right now.
Ghost, were you managed? Were you able to get all three?
Did you get all 3 full armor sets?
No, I've only got 2. I
What do you-
finally got the hunter one today out of an engram.
Oh, so that means you might play with us.
What are you missing?
No, I'm just missing the full set on Warlock.
Every single armor piece. You haven't played on your Warlock yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I didn't get off a character until I got all the arm pieces.
Do you think you're
That's
gonna
what I'm
do
doing.
Ward of Dawn on your Warlock?
Huh?
You can't.
Will you play Ward
The
of Dawn?
well, wellspring. Well, the well.
What's it
Well,
called? Oh, Well
Nova
of
Bomb.
Dawn.
Well, no, he wants to use void or stasis.
Well of
Oh,
Radiance.
no.
Yeah, to
That's
get
right.
that
You want to use the
shitty.
void or stasis.
Yeah, I
So
will say that's also not great.
yeah, I know. I knew you
Well,
wouldn't like that
Yeah.
for sure. That's limiting.
Death Knight also didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
Pelham doesn't like to
Right.
be restricted. He likes freedom. He honors the freedom to choose what your loadout.
Well, I mean, and
I can't blame you guys.
I can't blame them because it's like that a lot of the counters to the bubble
Right.
aren't necessarily viable if you're still if you're
There's some
having
cool
to
arc
do-
and solar counters.
right.
Yeah.
what is the challenges? Like there's like a lot. It's like play 15 games. So
I think it's 18.
I think it's 18.
18 games before you can choose your own subclass, and that's if you don't want to get on another character. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
That's too much.
It's a big
Yeah,
ask.
it's a lot.
Well, I will say this. I'm probably going to get on after the podcast at some point. We're going to have to do some dinner planning tonight, but then
Yeah, late
after I will
dinner.
be getting on if anybody's interested and wants to just chat and play some mindless Iron Banner just to get games done, not to win,
Yes.
but to have
Trying to get my
fun,
hunter boots.
and
went
get
to-
armor
Yeah,
chances
so
at
I can
armor
get my
pieces.
boots.
Right, chances at armor pieces.
I went into like an
It's all-
LFG, and I got last piece of armor for my Titan, so he's max power right now.
Oh,
Maybe
nice.
Work on my
Very good.
Work on my Mida catalyst, like Romance Girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just the trick is to just not, because it needs to be a precision kill. So don't
Don't even
do
think
what I
about
did
it.
and keep checking it.
No.
Yeah.
Watch pot never boils.
Because
Just
it's
play
going
with
to
it.
probably
It happens,
take
it
me like
happens.
3 or 4 games just to get used to the gun again and how
Yeah.
it works and how
At the end of our very long play session, I think I got like 50 out of 200, so I'm a quarter of the way there.
Not bad.
Right.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And you're having
But I
fun.
was also using my other, weapon and stuff, so I
Right,
wasn't worrying about
right.
it too much.
Okay. The other cat is very good at tiptoeing around the keyboard. This cat is just clonks around like a brontosaurus.
Stomp, stomp,
Yeah.
The two
So
types of cats.
so
yeah.
if something goes wrong, technically it's the cat, not me. What are you doing? All right. Before we move on to our today's special feature, we do have a special feature thanks to Green Stego last minute. But before we do that, I do want to talk about the exotic mission and people's impressions of that. And I did, if we rewind a few minutes here, I did ask before we, at the tail end of our dawning discussion, whether Green Stego and Romance Girl have had an opportunity to do that exotic mission yet.
We did. We did it with Ghost.
Oh, okay.
Well, the Catalyst we did with Ghost. We did the initial one, just the two of us, right?
Yeah, because the catalyst asked you to do it legend mode.
Right. And were you guys as impressed with it as I am? Like,
Oh, it's amazing.
I thought it was great. It's
like
so
a
good.
Mini Deep Stone Crypt.
I loved it.
A mini raid.
I loved it
Little
so
free-
much. The
free
music,
Guardian raid. Yeah,
just the
it's so
whole
good.
aesthetic, the mechanics of using the Deep Stone Crypt buffs or whatever they're called, the augments, right? Oh, it was great. It was so
You
much fun.
really feel like you're infiltrating this, underground bunker.
Yeah, there's a sense of
Like you're a
urgency
hacker.
too of
Yeah.
getting through it, and
We need more quests like that.
I know.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
I can't remember having that much being that much impressed, I'll say, since like maybe Whisper or what was the other
I'll
one?
tell
Zero.
you one of the things that
Zero
stood
hour.
out for
Cassie and
me.
Dan have
Besides,
got all the drones yet, so they don't get that extra, movement area to go see.
yeah, I mean
Yes,
the
we
whole
still need to shoot down all those yellow orbs.
Yeah, and
yeah.
if when you're leveling up the exoframes thing, make sure you choose the one where the lasers hit you less hard. It'll make it
Yeah.
easier.
I did not choose that.
Ghost didn't have that one, so he actually did die a couple
Yeah, but the Titan can get through it pretty easy.
Yeah.
Sally Bug and Soul
But
Time had to use World Line Zeros to get through
I
it.
chose Village.
Well, I
For,
will
like,
tell you
legend
this. One of the
difficulty.
things that stood out to me was that the jumping part was fun, and I was able to do it without feeling like I had to put on my stompies. That I could be successful with it, and that's what I
That was
liked
a big
about
plus.
jumping.
For us was I kept getting killed by the enemies.
Right. I mean, that's going to happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't the jumping, like the like most of the time with a jumping puzzle, I get
I wouldn't call it a
frustrated.
jumping puzzle. It was just an outdoor
Yeah.
portion of the.
Yeah, most of the time the jumping part I get super frustrated. And it was nice to not get frustrated because it was like something I could do without having to put on a specific exotic to get through it.
Be nice if those shanks didn't one shot on
Yes.
legend difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's so annoying. I don't like that.
Now, Soul Time, you need to talk about your exotic
FFS.
your catalyst
Oh my
debacle.
God.
Not only once.
Well, I
but
went through.
twice.
Richard carried us through the first time because we needed the
No.
catalyst.
He did it the first time, you and I on our own.
Oh gosh, we did it. So just the two of us, right? 2-person did.
Yep. You were getting ready to quit.
I was getting
We were
ready
like,
to quit
"That's
at
it.
the
We
end
can't do
because
it. It's
we hadn't
late,
figured
and
out how to
we're
deal
not
with the
gonna be able to
boss,
do
and it was
this."
getting late, and we had been
Well,
doing it.
apparently it scales with each person. Apparently it's
Right.
easiest to do it by yourself.
Right. Well, we're
And
getting to
so-
that. We're getting to that. So Sally Bug and Soul Time went through it, did it first time, and Sally Bug's all excited. Oh, the thing disappeared. I guess I unlocked the thing, and I can go to the enclave and craft the first part of the catalyst in there. And I'm looking, and I'm still at the same step, like to do it, and it didn't count for me. It turns out this previous step, where you had to go into that perdition lost sector on Europa, and at the end of it,
Oh, yeah.
dunk that thing.
That happened to Stego, but he caught it right away.
I didn't catch it, and so I had to go back solo and do that. And then I
We
did
went-
that.
We
So
went
many
back
times,
in.
We almost always try to check if we're both on the same quest step because it's happened to us so many times.
Lesson
We
learned.
did that too,
But here's
So
the
then
here's the
we-
problem. I saw it go in. It allowed me
Yeah,
to
no,
hold
I know
down
what you mean.
X.
That one was tricky.
It fooled me.
It looked like it, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. And so, but look, Ghost to the rescue. So Richard takes us through, and we do the whole thing over again. Guess what? It didn't advance. For what? Because you had to do that thing at the end where you had to dunk it in, and I didn't know about that. You had to put the cipher in or whatever,
Yep.
and somebody else did it before I could get to it. And so once again,
No, the second time you didn't remember. It was that exo. You needed to talk. You needed to inspect the exo.
you had to inspect that dead
somewhere
exo.
and we
The-
had just gone
in that
through it
one
with
room
Richard.
that
we weren't even
fries
thinking
you.
about it, so you forgot to inspect that one exo in that one part.
Okay, so I was so discouraged. I said, "Screw it! I'm doing this solo." Because I knew all I had to do was get up to the point where the dead exo was. So I went in there solo, and Romance Girl's 100% right. They're definitely lower health, so it was doable for me at that point. Plus, I'd been through it twice, so I knew what to
Yeah.
expect, knew what to do. Got up to that exo, really, honestly, in like 15 minutes. Like, I got there right away, examined the exo, and then the next step was I had to complete it. And there's no checkpoints. You can't go to space. You can't do. I had to complete it, and I was in there solo. I'm halfway through it, so I went ahead and soloed the whole freaking thing. The boss was a real pain solo
You got
for
a
me.
triumph out of it.
I got a triumph out of it, and I finally got the catalyst. I went right to the enclave. But man, I'm so glad it was. I loved that mission so much. It wasn't that much torture.
We
It was
haven't
just
done the next
disappointing
step
and
yet.
time consuming.
Yeah.
We haven't done the next part of the next
Yeah, we haven't done
catalyst
part
one.
2 yet. But
Yeah, we
and I
haven't
also
done part
haven't
2
gone
yet.
to the Enclave yet
Yeah,
to actually put it in.
yeah. We haven't done this week's story. Yeah,
It's a fun gun. Revision 0.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
It's actually really good in the Crucible too. If you,
I was gonna say that's another one I'm getting killed by actually pretty.
that's
pretty
one you
often,
should try in the Crucible, Sally.
pretty consistently.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready for our special feature? And this is kind of like
Let's go for it.
it's kind of a new thing, so I'm going to try and to do it justice with a little intro here. Paracasual Destiny Podcast presents special feature. Green Stego, what do you have for the special feature today?
Today we're doing a little mod academy, which isn't a mod.
Do we have a slide for this or no?
A
Yeah,
fly.
the graphic.
Yes, we do. Carry on.
There we go.
Okay.
I know that symbol.
Yeah. So for this time around, I wanted to talk. There's a mod that will show up, but I wanted to focus on repulsor brace today. We've all been very excited about the Volt Shot perk from last season and Incandescent the season before, which rolled out with synergies with the new subclass rollouts. And with this latest season, there was like a little bug fix for that affected repulsor brace, so I think it deserves a little attention. So just wanted to recap the perk. It shows up on Void weapons exclusively, and it adds a Void Overshield when you defeat a Void debuffed enemy with this weapon perk, Repulsor Brace. The HP shield, it's a 45 bonus shield, and because it's a Void Overshield, it also provides a 50% damage reduction in PvE, which is the bug fix. Void Overshields used to only be providing a 25% damage reduction. So now when you have that Overshield from Repulsor Brace, it has an extra percentage of damage reduction, and that's on top of it's stacking multiplicatively with your damage resistance from resilience and any other perk that you have, be it from a well mod or charge with light build or something. So just a quick recap, the Void debuffs are weakened, suppressed, and volatile. So if you can affect any of those enemies that you're shooting with this Void weapon, then you'll get this Void Overshield, which is fantastic. And there's some great synergy, specifically with the seasonal mod Weakened Clear that was kind of nerfed.
Richard loves that thing.
Mm-hmm. The Weakened Clear provides the Void version of Weakened. They like retooled it because they wanted it to be cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a grenade launcher with repulsor brace and the mod weakened clear on, then every kill with this grenade launcher is providing you with overshield. It's fantastic. There is one such weapon from the dungeon that just dropped, the Wilder Flight. So if you get your hands on a Wilder Flight with repulsor brace, you're going to want to snag that. And that's a keeper. That's great. It also works really well with Gerfalcon's Hauberk for our hunters out there.
Oh, we have some Gerfalcon fans in here.
I'm sure we do.
Fan.
Yeah.
I've got to find my lost there for a better stat.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I just got one from Iron Banner a little while ago. I haven't checked out the stats on it. Yep, a Gerfalcon.
Crazy.
Dropped.
People be getting exotics dropped, and you still can't get an Iron Banner drop.
Yeah, I had way more exotics drop than armor.
I only have 2 weapons that have that repulsor brace on it right now, and that's the Hero's Burden submachine gun, which I don't like
the
that much.
SMG in duality is supposed to be pretty good with repulsor brace.
And then I also have the Glaciocasm. I farmed for that one during the Dawning to get one with repulsor brace, but I would love to have more options with that.
Yeah,
because I'm hearing it's a really good.
Okay.
There are a few options for drops that can have repulsor brace. I was going to mention the Hero's Burden because that's topical. We got the Iron Banner right now. You can kind of target farm it with the focusing, although the price is pretty steep for 100 legendary shards each. That seems
I've got so many legendary shards though myself, so that's not a problem for me. I'm intrigued.
It might be a lot.
There are some craftable weapons though that can drop with it. The Ikelos hand cannon from this season. The Taipan, which I don't know that I'd recommend because you want that for like boss damage. The Hollow Denial Trace Rifle.
Oh, I like that trace rifle. It's
the void one from the Season of the Haunt. Season of the Haunted. Summerween. That's a really cool one. And also the Commemoration Void SMG, heavy machine gun.
That's the rare drops for those patterns you're going to be farming.
The Hollow Denial could be fun. Like if you wanted to run Hollow Denial in your energy slot and the new machine gun in your heavy with Gerfalcon's Hauberk, that could be a fun build.
I was able to get from the Dawning a Glacioclasm with Golden Tricorn repulsor brace that I would like to try out with a Void build to see how that goes as well.
Mm.
Golden Tricorn, you might not want to sleep on that perk either. Maybe that's a future special feature. But
yeah, that one's really cool.
It's interesting. So just briefly, it reminded me of a conversation Sally Bug and I had about how they managed to pull off sunsetting without sunsetting, and the way they do that through the perk pools, the new perks, and the origin traits, the updated origin traits that make the old weapons obsolete. So, but you still technically have the option of hanging on to the old roll if you really want it, right?
Looking at my vault, I miss sunsetting.
I did a huge cleaning last weekend, so I'm still under 500.
No,
I did too.
Ghost, you're not involved in this conversation.
Yes, he is.
No, tell him, Ghost.
Tell me.
I slimmed my vault to about 250.
What?
Wow.
So
where's all your armor?
Gosh.
No, he
I
can shut
thought
up.
I had done really well because I got
there
mine.
to begin with.
I got mine to under 400, and I was proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm still under 500.
Like 570, but like there was nothing on my characters, nothing
had,
on my
like,
alt,
in my
so it was
vault
like
was,
my
like,
actual number, and
two
then it went
exotic
back
armor
to
pieces.
600 with Iron Banner.
Okay.
I mean, I do still have, because one of the things that I did was I went to every weapon that is still at 1350, and I'm like, why am I holding on to all of these 1350s? And I still didn't get rid of all of them, but because it's like, gosh, if it's 1350 still, that means I really haven't used it in probably a year. And maybe it's time to just let it go.
I can't use that criteria myself, but I get what you're saying.
I had a bunch, but it was like some of them I still just couldn't let go because of the role that it had, and it's like, man, I don't know. But the other thing that I did to get my vault down was I went through all of my ghost shells, ships and sparrows, since most of those you can get out of collections.
Yeah, I already did that before then Witch Queen launched.
And so I have, like, each character has like full on, like, all the, like, has 10 chips and 10 sparrows, and then all the others I just took my favorite 30 and then just deleted the rest and thought, if I really want them, I can get them out of.
Yeah, anything that I can get out of collections, I don't have a problem dismantling, except the exotics that have like good rolls on them.
Right.
Can't get back. And also your catalyst weapons if you like the kill tracker.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't.
They need to fix that.
I don't care about the trackers that much, but you can't get any of the exotics back out, right?
No,
you can.
Yeah, you can get all of them back out.
Have like a 45 base roll.
Like that would be my next step. But since I have under
the weapons, you can get it all back, but the armor will give you a bad roll if you get it out of collections.
Yeah, so you can't do the armor, but like pretty much any exotic.
Any exotic weapon you could dismantle if you don't care about the kill tracker, because
dismantle it, right?
Just dismantle your exotics.
So I'm curious. You said Ghost isn't part of this conversation, but I'm just curious on what you did to get down to 250.
Well, time out.
Well, he was never above 500 to begin with. He has just never got
Time out. We can't give away all the potatoes.
He was the one. He told me that he never gets a full vault.
Well, can we?
I can't stand a full vote, so I have to get rid of stuff.
Can we mayonnaise jar this? Because I think I would like to have Ghost on to do a special feature talking about his vault habits and how he maintains a low number on that vault space. And that would give him time to reflect and think about his habits and what he does that's different from, say, Pelham or me or you, right?
I still have the outdated keep one of everything, and they just keep relentlessly releasing more things.
So many weapons in this game.
Yeah, I would appreciate if Richard meditated on it and then described his method for carving his marble statue.
I just throw the weapons I'd never use.
Well, there goes the special feature.
Yeah, well, he already spilled the beans, so there you have it. Just dismantle what you don't use. It's that easy.
The other thing is, I'll say this since we're on the topic, is if you go to dim and you just do the comparison,
FOMO.
You do the comparison feature of a weapon, you can look at comparing archetypes. So right now I have up my Pardon Our Dust, and the two other archetypes are Ignition Code and Witherhoard. Well, I'm going to keep Witherhoard, but then I get the choice to decide between Ignition Code and Pardon Our Dust, right? So you can get rid of...
It is a good method. Objectively, that is a very good method.
Yeah. Keep the best of each archetype. One of each archetype instead of one of each weapon is what I think we're going to have to move to.
Now that we have these crafted weapons, though, I kind of am missing static rolls. And then we could just get any weapon out of the collection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I overall
Yeah,
like
I
crafting
kinda
because it's
like the
giving me an out.
idea.
No, I'm saying, yeah. I mean, I'm saying like with crafting, that means like all the world drops, like the non-craftable weapons, I think could just have static rolls. That way
Right,
you can just, I mean, we're auto dismantling them all anyway.
right.
Basically,
I
yeah.
like that idea. I was kind of
Yeah.
going with that same thought process of why not make every weapon a craftable weapon, but that also has, or not
They'll
every
get there
weapon, but
eventually.
like a good portion of the
It does
weapons.
seem that's the direction they're going in.
Yeah, you
I
would
was
think.
not expecting this many craftable weapons at once.
And then you could just get rid of like the ones like, but you could still, and the version that drops that's not craftable is static, right? So that you could dismantle it, but if you wanted it, you could always go back, you could go and get it from collections. That's what I
I'm
was
just
going to
saying
say.
static rolls mixed with RNG rolls could maybe help with this type of management system.
I think once every weapon's craftable, apart from say world drops with good rolls are probably the only things that'll be in your vault, as well as say armor,
Craftable, yeah, I
unless
mean,
they won't do that.
yeah, sorry to interrupt. But yeah, craftables kind of they kind of kill the whole RNG god roll anyway, as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except for those who just like don't do the. I mean, I
Are
still
you saying
say they're
except for those who
pretty.
just decide not to craft it?
Well, for the
I mean, once you
casuals
craft
who
it, if
don't
you-
get the patterns to drop, especially for like the not the seasonal weapons,
I
but
mean,
like say the raid weapons or the dungeon weapons, when you're
yes,
not
but
doing
even for
those.
me, I'm only keeping like I'm in the back of my mind. I'm like, maybe one day I'll craft a Smite of Moraine, even though we all know it'll never happen. But I.
Hey, if you want it to happen, I'm ready to help.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we
I
should.
know you are.
I wish we had
appreciate
more
that.
time for the game too during the week. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it because I need to get back into Iron Banner. I need.
You need some dinner.
Tomorrow's
My
going to be a
Lord is
busy day.
calling
I'm
you.
probably not going to
Dinner
get
and
much
Iron
Destiny
Banner.
in, so I want to take advantage of tonight having
Yeah.
it available. And like I said, if anybody else is on and needs to just get some mindless matches done, I will be in there.
Yeah, I just need to get. I want to get work on the Mida and
Highly recommend Ghost and Death Night.
try to get my.
They were hilarious company.
As
Yes.
usual,
Well,
it's
and-
always
Absolutely.
it's always
and
an
I'm
honor to
always,
play with
like,
them.
I'm that like assistant type player, right? Like, just gonna get assists. So if I have somebody, I can always just like, okay, I'm gonna tail you. And
I mean,
shoot
I would say
behind you.
maybe I am as good as Ghost on his hunter.
I could say that. I could see that.
Ghost, wouldn't you say that we're like on equal footing when you're on your hunter?
Yeah.
No. It was a joke.
Because the game's all about capping, right? And you're always at the top, so
Yeah, it is.
Always.
No,
Sally Bug's been at the
but
top
yeah.
a few times with her hunter in this game mode, anyway.
It's fun to cap the zones.
Yeah,
and
I
I'd
like
to
it.
stick with what I'm good at, and that's PvE stuff.
Yeah, I think we
mean,
can all
you're-
speak to
you're
that.
actually- you're better than PvP than you give yourself credit for, but
Um,
it's fun with friends.
So I think before we say goodbye, is there any
Non-Destiny media consumption.
non-Destiny media consumption anybody would like to share before we sign off?
I want to do a quick shout out because I know one of the things I've talked about that I've been watching is my LawTube.
Your LawTube peeps?
My LawTube peeps. And over the holidays, one of the content creators that's probably top of my list in that category had a stroke. And
Rick Hogue.
and is in the hospital recuperating. His wife is sending some updates through the community part of his channel. But I just want to give a shout out. It's Virtual Legality. Also, I think it's Hoeglaw, Hoeglaw. So I've been kind of streaming him at night and just like playing all of his things because it's going to give his channel a boost while he is in this recuperating and not able to actually make content or do his day job, which is being a lawyer. So
and he has some pretty good his virtual legality part of his channel is all the gaming industry, and he's done Bungie a few times, and he looks at the legal side of, like, you know, the Activision Microsoft merger and all those things, and when the FTC gets involved with video games and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's got some
so he's
some
a gamer.
good playlists having to do with the Microsoft Activision acquisition, and the I think he's got a couple of others that are there's definitely a crossover with gaming and gamers.
Yeah.
And
he knows his
in
stuff
addition
too.
to that, and I think I talked about this as well, is that he and all his his lawyer content creator friends got on and did a whole series on Saturdays with doing Dungeons and Dragons with a dungeon master. So it was called Lawyers and Dragons. So there's a whole playlist going on about that one. So if you're a kind of a D&D fan, it's kind of fun too. That's another series that you could watch. So I just want to give a shout out to him and just say, hey, you know, just go and give that channel some love.
Yep. Stego.
We have been playing through and are nearing the end of Paper Mario and the Origami King for the Nintendo Switch, which is a lot of fun.
You've been putting in some time with it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Effective use of vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
We actually thought we were going to be able to get it in a few days, but it's been kicking our ass.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not so good for like checking off items on our video game
Our
backlog.
backlog. Yeah.
Right.
But in terms of just like enjoying playing video games, it's great. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished watching the latest season of Mythic Quest, which is on Apple TV. And that was a lot of fun.
A trial for that, so.
Mm-hmm. And while we had the trial, we also watched, over the holiday, we watched the movie Spirited with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
A colleague of mine is telling me I need to see that.
It's silly. It's just good fun.
It's just silly Christmas fun.
Another variation of the
shout out
Great
was
Tale.
I got a Switch game for Christmas called, well, I actually don't know if it's pronounced Gris or Gree. I would assume Grease.
Grease.
Yes.
It's made in Spain.
It's one of my favorite games.
It's so fun. I'm really confused most of the time. Like, what am I supposed to do now?
It's an aesthetic experience for the most part.
It's aesthetic, and it's just like
it's actually really relaxing, and
it's a very nice Zen platformer to do. Like, unlike Cuphead, like that's like frenetic and like trying to get stuff. It's just like this nice Zen platformer that I'm having a lot of fun with. So I just want to give another out to that one.
And Ghost, do you have anything? Any recommendations?
I've been watching a bit of everything. I did watch that Wednesday TV series. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, we watched Wednesday as well.
Right.
Oh, I've heard a lot of
Netflix.
really good things about that one.
It's also getting a season 2. So, win-win.
Oh, nice. Shout out. I was thinking of you, fellow Marvel fan. Hawkeye is injured. Did you hear about that?
I did see that.
That's tragic.
Had a very bad accident with a.
My mum got him confused with the that rally race driver Ken Block who died of like a snowmobile accident.
Right, same type of. I mean, it both involves snow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
but
was thinking,
Jeremy-
maybe let's just stay away from snow for a bit.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner.
Oh,
Supposedly he is recovering, which is he's
Yeah,
lucky
it
to be
could've been-
alive
it
from
could have
what
been bad.
it could have been very bad. He could have been
It looks
crushed.
like it was a close call.
It's miraculous, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Very
have a lot of
scary.
sick celebrities that we are sending our thoughts out to from this podcast. So I think that wraps it up. I'm just going to put a plug in for some French Christmas music if you're into that sort of thing. There's a really good playlist that I might link to. Then again, I might not. But Christmas music in French, it's kind of a new area for me. I'm surprised I didn't get around to it until this season. But we're kind of pulling out of the Christmas season, and I know Richard and Pelham aren't really big into listening to Christmas music over there where they are. So I think with that, it is a wrap. Any final words from anybody before we sign off here?
The thing about the UK is they get annoyed with Christmas music because they hear it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Oh, well. What are you going to do? I'm sure you're not annoyed with the gifts, though, and the candy canes. Or, I'm
Didn't get any
sorry.
candy canes.
Yeah, the blowouts.
Hey.
The blowouts.
Oh no. Don't mention blowouts.
Too soon.
Well, all right.
Jinxed yourself now. Your own banner games are going to consist of that.
That's it. That's all
Well,
you're gonna get.
I appreciate everybody tuning in. This has been episode 64 of the Paracasual Destiny podcast. You join us live on YouTube every other Saturday, and we have a new time. It's a little later, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern U.S. time. Subscribe, like, follow. We are on that Twitter, so until next time, it's goodbye from Ghost, Romance Girl, Stego, and the Great Sally Bug. And of course, I'm Sultan. Keep pushing back that darkness.
I
Bye.
thought about joining it, to be honest.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Iron Banner Side.